I'll never forget the sound the rain made that night. Not the soft, calming rhythm you'd expect, but a relentless drumming, like thousands of desperate fingers tapping at every surface. It was the kind of storm that swallowed the horizon and turned the world into a blur of gray. And somewhere out there, hidden behind miles of corn taller than a man, something else was listening too. I was driving home from a late shift, cutting through rural farmland because the GPS said it would shave off 20 minutes. 20 minutes felt like gold at the time. The road narrowed into a strip of cracked asphalt that looked like it hadn't been repaved since the 80s. Fields stretched endlessly on both sides. Walls of corn swaying in the wind, whispering in long, breathy sighs that blended with the storm. The rain thickened, smearing across my windshield despite the frantic wipers. The headlights barely pierced more than a few yards ahead. When the warning chime sounded, low fuel, I cursed out loud. There were no gas stations for miles, just darkness, rain, and the hypnotic rows of corn scrolling past like the world was stuck on repeat. Then I saw the figure, a thin silhouette at the side of the road, soaked and motionless. I swerved instinctively, heart slamming in my chest. For a second, I thought I'd hit them, but when I looked in the rearview mirror, there was nothing, just rain, just corn. I slowed the car, breath shaky. Logic tried to soothe me. Probably a trick of the storm, a shadow, a scarecrow. But scarecrows don't stand that still in the rain. And they don't look back at you. A mile later, the engine sputtered, a hollow, dying cough, then silence. The headlights flickered and cut out. The world went black. The storm swallowed everything. For a long moment, I just sat there, gripping the wheel like it was the only real thing left. The car felt impossibly small, a fragile bubble floating in a sea of night. The rain hammered down harder, each drop echoing inside the cabin. Thunder rolled in the distance like something massive turning over in its sleep. I checked my phone. 1 bar, no data. I turned the key again, nothing, not even a click. That's when I noticed the smell. Wet soil, rot. A sour, moldy stench drifting in through the vents, like the earth itself was decaying. I told myself I'd just walk, follow the road, find a farmhouse or a sign of life. I popped the door open, and the storm hit me like a wall. Icy rain soaking through my clothes instantly. The cornfields hissed and bucked in the wind, their leaves slapping together in frantic applause. The darkness was absolute. My phone flashlight cut through it just enough to show the glistening asphalt ribbon stretching forward. I started walking, telling myself it was fine. People walked roadsides all the time. But every step came with the creeping awareness that I was completely alone. At least I thought I was. About 5 minutes in, I heard it. Faint at first, blending with the rain. Footsteps. Wet, unhurried, keeping pace behind me. I stopped. So did they. The rain fell harder, thick and heavy, masking everything. I swallowed, pulse tapping in my throat. Maybe it was just the echo of my own steps. Maybe the storm was playing tricks. I walked again. So did they. Closer this time. I spun around, phone light cutting through the dark, illuminating only the shimmering curtain of rain and the wall of corn. The stalks swayed slowly, as if something had just slipped between them. "Hello?" I shouted over the storm. My voice felt small, swallowed by the night. No answer. Just the restless whisper of leaves. I took a step toward the field, shining the light between the stalks. They parted slightly, revealing nothing but more corn stretching into infinity. But the smell was stronger here. Damp rot, tinged with something metallic. I backed away. That's when I heard the laugh. Not loud, not manic. Just a soft, breathy chuckle. Too close, too human. It came from the corn. My heart thrashed against my ribs. I didn't wait. I turned and started walking faster, then running, shoes slipping on the wet road. The laughter followed, rising and falling, sometimes behind me, sometimes to the side, always near, always just out of sight. The cornfield seemed to lean inward, and then I saw it. A faint orange glow in the distance, a porch light. I sprinted toward it like it was salvation. The house appeared from the storm, old, wooden, sagging. The light above the door flickered, swarmed by moths. I pounded on the door with both fists. "Please, my car broke down!" For a moment, nothing. Then the door creaked open. An elderly man peered out, deep lines etched into his weathered face. His eyes were sharp, though, assessing me like I might blow away with the storm. "You shouldn't be out there," he said quietly, voice rough like gravel. "Get inside." I stepped in, dripping onto the worn wooden floor. The smell of old books and dust replaced the rot outside. A grandfather clock ticked solemnly in the corner. The storm raged against the house, shaking the windows. "Thank you," I breathed. Something was following me. He didn't look surprised. He just nodded. "They like the rain," he said. A chill threaded down my spine. "Who?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he stared past me, toward the door, like he could see through it, through the storm, through the miles of corn. "You ever heard the stories?" he asked slowly. "About the ones who get lost out there? Folks think they wander off, think they drown in the fields. But the truth is, the corn keeps what walks between it." I tried to laugh, but it came out thin. "You mean animals?" He met my eyes. "Do animals whisper your name?" The house suddenly felt smaller. He motioned toward the back room. "Come away from the door. They listen." I followed him, my soaked shoes squeaking on the floorboards. The kitchen was dim, lit only by a single hanging bulb. Rain streaked the windows like silver veins. "Sit," he said, pulling out a chair. I did. He poured tea into a chipped mug and slid it toward me. My hands trembled as I wrapped them around the warmth. Outside, something brushed the siding. A slow, dragging sound, like fingers tracing the wood. I froze. The old man's jaw tightened, but he didn't move. "They'll circle the house now," he murmured. "They always do when the storm traps someone on the road." A shadow passed the window. Tall, thin. "Wrong." I held my breath. The whispering started then, faint at first, then louder. Not from the man, not from me. From outside, multiple voices, layered, murmuring like a prayer whispered through broken teeth. My name threaded through it, warped and stretched. I hadn't told him my name. "How do they know?" "They remember," he said quietly. The bulb flickered. The clock in the other room stopped ticking. Silence. Then knocking. Slow, deliberate. Not on the door. On the windows. Every window. As if the house was being tested. "They can't come in unless you step out," he said. "But they'll try to make you." My phone buzzed suddenly in my pocket. A single notification. I pulled it out with shaking hands. Neuvoicemail. No number. The old man's expression darkened. "Don't..." But I already had. I pressed play. The voicemail was nothing but wet, sucking sounds. Then, breathing. So close it felt like it was inside my skull. And then, my own voice. "Please, my car broke down." A perfect echo of what I'd said at the door, followed by that soft, breathy laugh. I dropped the phone. The knocking grew frantic, palms smearing across glass, nails scraping. The voices outside layered into a crescendo of whispering, pleading, mocking, imitating. One of them copied the old man, another copied me. Thunder crashed, the bulb burst overhead, showering sparks. In the dark, the old man's voice was calm. "Do not answer them." But then I heard it, my mother's voice, crying, begging, sobbing my childhood nickname through the storm. My chest tightened, logic dissolved into panic. I stumbled up, heart tearing itself apart inside me. "She's out there!" I choked. "She needs me!" The old man grabbed my arm with surprising strength. "That is not your mother." The house shuddered violently. The front door rattled on its hinges. The smell of rot flooded back in, thick and overwhelming. Then, silence. Total. Even the rain stopped. The air went dead and heavy, like the world was holding its breath. I could see my reflection faintly in the black window pane. Wide eyes, pale face, and behind it, shapes. Tall. Too many joints. Smiling without mouths. They leaned closer to the glass, as if pressing their non-existent faces against it. And then, in a single voice made of many, they whispered, "Come see." The doorknob began to turn. The old man whispered a prayer. And I realized with a hollow, sinking certainty, I had never heard him lock it.